Hello students, let's learn rounding off numbers. But before that, we need to know what estimation and approximation are. So, estimate means to find a value close enough to the actual value. That means to make an idea about quantities, to guess the number of something. So, we are not actually getting the correct value, but we are coming very close to the correct value. And what does approximate mean? Coming close to the correct answer by rounding it off to the nearest number. Okay, so here when you approximate something, you don't get the correct value, but you get something very close. And how do we do this? By rounding it off to the nearest number. So let's learn how to round off numbers. Now, let me give you an example of numbers 3 and 8. How do we round off numbers 3 and 8? Now, let me help you with a number line. Now, suppose we have a number line of numbers from 0 to 10. Now, I am going to represent these numbers 3 and 8 on the number line. So, first let me represent 3 on the number line. So, as you can see, we have 3 there. Now, if you look carefully, you can see that 3 is closer to 0 than it is to 10. Can you see 10 is far away from 3, whereas 0 is closer to 3. So, if I have to round it off, I will round off 3 to 0. Okay, so 3 is rounded off to 0 because it's closer to 0 than it is to 10. Now let me take the number 8. So I have represented 8 here, 8 is here, and now look at 8. It's closer to 10 than to 0. 0 is far away from 8, isn't it? Whereas 10 is closer to 8. So we are rounding off 8 to 10. So we've got 3 which is closer to 0 and we're going to round it off to 0. 8 which is closer to 10, so we round it off to 10. So all numbers beyond 5 will be rounded off to 10 and all numbers less than 5 will be rounded off to 0. Now what about the number 5 itself? What about this number 5? What do you do when you get 5? Let me represent that there. Now what we do is, since 5 is right in the middle, we normally represent it and round it off to 10. So 5 or anything above 5 is rounded off to 10 and not to 0 because 5 is in the middle. As a rule, we round off 5 to 10. So 5 is rounded off to 10. So now, what is rounding off numbers? Rounding off a number means making the number simpler but keeping its value close to what it was. Okay, we can't take it completely away from the number. We take the value close to the number itself. Now we are going to round off numbers in our exercises now. So if we have to round off a number to the nearest 10, what do we do? So let's take an example, 64. And this is the example that we are going to round off to the nearest 10. Now, what are the steps that we need to follow? Step 1, underline the digit in the tens place. So that's the first thing we need to do. So here we have ones and tens. Let's underline the digit in the tens place, that is 6. We have underlined 6. What is step 2? Step 2 is look at the digit to its right. So we have underlined 6. So we have to look at the digit to its right. If the digit is less than 5, is the digit less than 5? Yes, it is. If it is less than 5, replace it by 0. That means this 4, I have to replace it with 0 and keep all the other digits as they are. So 6 will remain the same. I will change 4 to 0. So let's do that. So this will now become 60. So I rounded off 64 to the nearest 10. I've got 60. Now let's take another example. Now look at this example. Here the number is 58 and I am going to round off 58 to the nearest 10. So what should we do? If the digit to the right of the underlined digit, so first let's underline the digit in the tens place. So ones, tens, 5 is in the tens place, and if the digit is 5 or more than 5, so to the right of the underlined digit, if you have a number which is 5 or more than 5, so here we have 8 which is more than 5, What should we do? Replace it by 0 and increase the underlying digit by 1. So we're going to replace 8 by 0. So that is 0 there. And increase the underlying digit by 1. So 5 plus 1 is 6. So 58 to the nearest 10 is 60. Okay, so the main thing is looking at the digit to the right. If it is less than 5, then replace it with 0 and keep all the other digits as it is, like this, no change. Whereas if it is more than 5, increase the tens place by 1. Then the next one. Now, how do we round off a number to the nearest 100 this time? So let's take an example, 723. Let's round it off to the nearest 100. So what are the steps to follow? Underline the digit in the hundreds place. That's the first step. So we have ones, tens and hundreds. So let's underline the digit in the hundreds place, which is 7. Now the next step, look at the digit to its right. So what is the digit next to 7? It's 2. If the digit is less than 5, yes, it is less than 5, replace the digits on the right by zeros. So after 7, whatever you have on the right, replace it by zeros and keep all the other digits as they are. Here we have only 7, so keep 7 as it is. Okay, so what do we get here? We get 700. So when you round off 723 to the nearest 100, you get 700. Now let's take another example. So here what do we have? We have 498 and we are going to round it off to the nearest 100. So first step is this, underline the digit in the hundreds place. So let's do that. So we have underlined 4 because 4 is in the hundreds place. Now we have to look at the digit to its right. So here, if the digit to the right of the underlined digit is 5 or more than 5. So let's look at that. It's 9. It's more than 5. So what should we do? Replace all the digits on the right by zeros. Okay, that means on the right I have 9, 8. I'm going to replace it by zeros. Then what about 4? Okay, increase the underlying digit by 1. So I'm going to increase 4 by 1. 4 plus 1 is 5. So I have 500. So now my number is 500. So underline the digit in the hundreds place. Look at the digits to its right. If it is less than 5, replace it by 0 and leave the other number as it is. If it is more than 5, replace it by 0 and increase this digit by 1. Next, if you have to round off a number to the nearest 1000, okay, so let's take an example. We have 5497. We're going to round it off to the nearest 1000. So first step, as usual, is underline the digit in the thousands place. So 5 is in the thousands place. We have underlined it. Then what should we do? We should look at the digit to its right. So what is the digit to its right? 4. If the digit is less than 1, less than 5, I'm sorry, if the digit is less than 5, replace the digits on the right by zeros. So all these digits 4, 9 and 7 will now become zeros and keep all the other digits as they are. So I'm going to keep 5 as it is. So what will my answer here be? 5 and all the others are zeros. So 1, 2 and 3 zeros. So my answer is 5000. Okay. Now let's take another example, 7891. Now I'm going to round it off to the nearest 1000. So first step is underline the digit in the thousands place. So let me underline the digit in the thousands place. Next step is look at the digit to its right and the digit to its right is 8. It's more than 5. So what should we do? If the digit to the right of the underlined digit is 5 or more than 5, replace all digits on the right by zeros. So all these 8, 9 and 1, replace it by zeros and increase the underlined digit by 1. So 7 will now become 8. So what will I get here? I will get 8000. Okay. So this is what we need to keep in mind. Underline the digit in the thousands place. Look at the digit to its right. If it's less than 5, replace it by zeros and leave 5, this number, as it is. If it is more than 5, replace it all by zeros but increase the thousands place by 1. So this is how we round off numbers to the nearest 10, 100 and 1000.